in the news. Donald Trump so far appears to be having a very positive effect not only on the stock market, but on the attitudes of small businesses and corporations alike. Let me share with you a little bit of what Breitbart's running on this. Their headline, Companies Vow Tens of Thousands of U.S. Jobs After Trump Win. The number of companies announcing a ramping up of investment in the U.S. and creating jobs have jumped to a quicker pace since the election of Trump to the White House. They say we know about Carrier air conditioning manufacturing, where they were going to move these jobs, about 1,000 or so jobs, to Mexico, and they've decided to stay in Indianapolis. But there's other examples that they give in this piece, like SoftBank Telecommunications. Here's what they say. On the heels of the Carrier announcement, Donald Trump met with the founder and CEO of SoftBank Group Corp. This is Masayoshi Son at Trump Tower. As a result of the meeting, the Sprint cell network owner pledged to invest $50 billion in the United States and plan to create as many as 50,000 new jobs. U.S. Steel. They say next, during a December 7th broadcast on CNBC, the CEO of U.S. Steel, Mario Longhi, said that after the election of Donald Trump, he has, quote, felt an environment of positive optimism where forces are converging to provide for a better environment, end quote. He says as a result, he hopes that he can rehire now up to 10,000 employees who had been laid off. IBM. A week after U.S. Steel noted its positive outlook on the U.S. economy, the computing giant IBM also found its outlook had brightened and reported that it expects now to create up to 25,000 new jobs in the United States. Now, that doesn't mean that every corporation is doing this, but these are some positive signs. And then you get to what's called the Index of Small Business Optimism. The Index of Small Business Optimism, this comes from the National Federation of Independent Businesses, which is like the largest coalition body of small businesses in America. And there's a survey, their new survey shows that small businesses have increased in confidence of expectations with the new administration coming in. Juanita Dugan, who's president and CEO of the National Federation of Independent Businesses, said, quote, before Election Day, small business owners' optimism was flat. Now, I want you folks to keep in mind, before Election Day, it was assumed by pretty much everybody that Hillary Clinton was going to win the presidency. But optimism was flat. Yet after Election Day, optimism soared. Now that's soared. That's the word that was used by the president of the National Federation of Independent Businesses. Optimism in the business climate in America for small business owners, quote, soared starting the day after the election when Donald Trump won. The chief economist for the National Federation of Independent Businesses, Bill Dunkelberg, said, quote, the November index was basically unchanged from October's reading up to the point of the election, and then rose dramatically after the results of the election were known. For the full month of November, the index surged 3.5 points to 98.4, only the third time since 2007 that the index rose above the 42-year average. Small business owners their plans to hire jumped 14 percentage points from pre-election to post-election, according to the index. Sales expectations also jumped from net 4% to net 20%. The expectation of better business conditions increased a massive 44%. Pre-election expectations was a negative 6%. Post-election expectation is a positive 38%. Dugan went on to say, quote, federal taxes, regulations, and Obamacare are the three biggest impediments to running a small business in America. Small business owners have high expectations that those problems will be addressed. So you look at the polls. Donald Trump is improving in the polls, but he's still lagging pretty far behind what's normal for presidents once they're elected. I mean, usually once a president is elected, most of America kind of rallies behind that person. Donald Trump hasn't had that happen yet, but it is slowly increasing. There's a lot of people, and this is being led certainly by the liberal left and being led by the mainstream media, There's a lot of people that are just scared of Donald Trump. And here's what I think is going to happen. Now, I could be proven wrong. We'll see. But my best guess is that when Donald Trump's regulation easing on corporations, when some of his policies start actually getting enacted, I think you're going to see GDP increase. I think you're going to see job creation each month increase. Now, I want you to keep in mind, Barack Obama has been averaging about maybe 150 to 200,000 jobs created a month. And that's it. That's it. He hasn't had one single year where he averaged 3% GDP growth for the year. Not one. That's the first time since, I think, Herbert Hoover that any president has ever gone through their entire presidency and not had at least 1 year of averaging 3%. So I think what's going to happen here is Trump's going to get in office. He's going to start getting his policies enacted. And as he does this, you're going to start seeing in job creation, I don't think we're going to be in the 150 to 200,000 range. I think you're going to start seeing 250 to 300,000 to 350 to 400,000. I think we're liable to start seeing numbers like that within the first couple of years of Donald Trump's presidency. I think we're going to see GDP going up as well and actually crossing over the 3% threshold. Now, in all fairness, it is very possible that a recession could kick in sometime within the next few months. That is possible just because we're so extremely due for a recession. We're also extremely due for a huge stock market crash. We're actually overdue for both of these things. So timing-wise, because these usually run on cycles, about 7-year cycles or so. Well, guess what? It's been about 8-9 years now. And so it's overdue, it's past due, so there should be a major correction in the stock market coming sometime, and there should be a recession coming sometime soon. I hope that doesn't happen. But if it does, it'll probably happen very early in Trump's presidency. So we'll see what happens with it. But overall, I think you're going to see over the course of the next 4 years, I think a lot of people are going to be experiencing in real life, in their paychecks, in the businesses, people are going to be like, well, wait a minute here. Everybody told me be afraid of Donald Trump, be afraid. But all I know is the company I work for has been more profitable. They've expanded. They've hired more people. I've gotten raises. We've gotten promotions. Things seem to be more stable. GDP is actually over 3% now. We're no longer creating just an anemic 150 to 200,000 jobs a month. The jobs reports are coming out saying 300,000 and 400,000 jobs a month created. I mean, people are going to have to see this stuff and take note. Now, trust me on this. The media, the mainstream press, they're going to do everything they can to put a sad face on the positive economic news that comes from Trump's policies. You watch. They will do that, I guarantee you. And then I will be the one on this show, and you can count on it. I'll be the one on this show to say to you, let's look at what ABC or NBC or CNN or whatever, let's look at what they had to say about the jobs report or whatever that came out from, and then I'll point out to you how they're saying that it's bad news that Donald Trump only produced 300,000 jobs last month because we really anticipated more than that. And then I'm going to contrast that with how they were celebrating that Barack Obama added 177,000 jobs. So that's the kind of nonsense in the media that you can count on me bringing to your attention through the course of the next 4, if not 8 years. All right, you're listening to The Bob Dutko Show.